What's up, everybody? Woo! Welcome to Exploring. Raw checking in to finish my little conversation from yesterday. Also, everybody will be doing a live stream later on where I'll be doing live readings in the chat room for people, little quick readings. We're going to do a YouTube session later on. I got my St. Benedict holy water here. Look at this. Whoa, friggin' deer. So what's up, everybody? Hopefully my phone will last. Mark from Thoth. Yeah, Mark, email me privately. I wanted to talk to you about some things, actually. So, yesterday I was talking about in our last video some of my viewings that I've done and what I witnessed that may be beneath the catacombs of the Vatican. In fact, I've done many viewings upon that area of Rome over the years. In fact, one time I was viewing the Castel San Angelo and in the Ponte Sant'Angelo, that area, and which is a short little trip from there to St. Peter's. It's not far. But one time I literally was, I guess you could say, not like a time jump, but like I was transported within my consciousness and within my whole being to another time and place within ancient Italy. And it's happened a few times in my life like this, where you feel like everything is just slowing down, and it's and that sound is coming on you, and you hit a wall, and then you open your eyes, because usually you're gritting your eyes closed because you feel like you're gonna die. You feel like you can't even scream to get the words out of your throat to call for help, and you feel like if you don't shake your head you might die, or you'll get stuck like that forever. You feel like you're gonna die. It's like it's this weird feeling. At least that's the way it happens to me. And you can almost see like the particles slowing down in the air. And then if you give into it, or if you don't fight it, hey, what's up, Jess? If you don't fight it, immediately you hit a wall, right? It's happened to me various times in my life. One time, yeah, wow, that's very interesting, Susan. Susan, I wanted to contact you privately as well. I wanted to set up something, a reading for you as well. Now, everybody, I've been going through a lot of interesting things lately, and there's a lot of forces out there that are trying to prevent me from following my calling, but we're going to do it, everybody, regardless. And I'm going to show you an example. Well, let me first finish my what I was going towards. So one time, I literally had this come over me where I felt like I was going to die, and then I gave into it. And I opened up my eyes, and I was on the streets of Italy witnessing some sort of mob. In fact, I could smell the burning flames in the air, and I could smell the fear of the people that were inside the building. Now, there were a few hundred red-shirted people guarding specific spots near the Tiber River and the bridges there, the Castel San Angelo and St. Peter's. Now, what I think I was witnessing was what they call, the Mattei family for a while in ancient Italy. I think it's spelled M-A-T-T-E-I, Mattei, or something like that. They were actually called the Soldati Rossi, the red shirts. They were put in strategic spots in Italy when the Pope died. Now, back in the day, I'm talking about the 1200s, 1300s, when a Pope died, if they didn't find a new Pope quickly, there were riots, especially if they didn't pick an Italian Pope. They were pressured. People were pressured. The Pope was pressured. The whole office of them to not only have an Italian Pope, but to find an answer quickly for a new Pope. And eventually the Swiss army took the reins of being the ones that's in control of protecting everything there. But for a while, I know the Mattei family, the Soldati Rossi, the red shirts, were in charge of guarding what would happen, because what I was witnessing literally was they were attacking the place where they were voting on the popes, and I saw the fear of the people inside. They were actually putting spears through the walls, and it was coming at them until they elected their pope, and an Italian pope. And I was witnessing this. In fact, they were starting to burn the place down, and they were putting spears through the walls. So that's how intense. And when you witness something like this, it's more real than any than this realm can ever feel. It really is more real than you can possibly. It's the terror you can feel, and the vibrational energy of some of the things taking place is more intense than this realm, more real than than reality is on this realm. It really is. So what I wanted to get into that I didn't get the chance to talk about yesterday, because my stupid phone, it only charges for a little while. I gotta eventually get a new one, but that's on a long list of things that I'll eventually get to. It's not that important to have. I mean, it is for me to do my family, and my child is way more important right now. But eventually, I'll have a camera, a better phone. But I'm going to do a broadcast from where I live right now, in a couple hours. So we're gonna do live readings on there as well. So we are going to do another broadcast later, but what I want to talk about is dreamtime healing, holographic spiritual healing. I know some people call it holographic kinetics, but we all can do this on our own. I actually teach how to do this. I have dream courses, dream interpretation. Not many people have, I think, noticed it on my website, but I do offer that. I do spiritual clearings. I do spiritual readings. I have a shamanism course that I just feel healthy enough to get back to now, because I have faced some of the worst spiritual attacks you can face throughout life, and I've overcame it, and I've learned how to deal with it, and I can teach others how to overcome spiritual attacks, especially when they're not, they were, yes, that's my email. Yep, that's my email. Especially when they're not justified. They were you're being attacked for basically no reason, because people want to stop your message, or stop you. I've spoken up about satanic cults. I've spoken up about the Golden Dawn and a lot of black magic that's being out there, and people don't like that. Now, I recently, over the last few weeks, was attacked by voodoo, dark voodoo sorcery, and I know a few of the attacks where they came from. In fact, one of them was like a scalar attack that I do feel is connected to Illuminati and certain secret societies out there that I don't want to really get into too much. But I had astral dream time attacks, and I have intense ancestral for them to even get through my ancestral protection at one time. Maybe it's because my immune system was down and because I wasn't ready for it, but I was able to have an ancestral healing, a shamanic healing, and made peace with the voodoo, the very voodoo that these people sent after me. I was able to contact that voodoo energy on the holographic side of things, the spiritual realm of things, and form a truce without the people who sent that evil after me's consent. So it shows you that we can heal, even though we don't realize what's taking place. The dream time has all the messages of what your physical ailments are, what your spiritual ailments are. You can find symbolic omens, both good and bad, not only in our physical realm, through animal activity, cloud activity, humanity activity. You have signs all around you at all times, through people just walking by, through the flights of the birds, through the feeling of the wind, through the way the clouds are moving, the formations. Everything is talking to you in a spiritual way. So it's the same with dream time. What you're being shown in dream time is your activity in your spiritual realms, and you're being given ways to heal in dream time in various ways. So I was astrally attacked. My astral bodies were attacked, and it was a voodoo attack. In fact, one of them a couple of weeks ago was a voodoo type environment. Like I found myself standing on an island looking at a beautiful blue-green water, and then like a canoe of like African people. You know, they were all shirtless, and they had like African attire. They were black people, and they had crazy eyes like Kali Ma, like bloodthirsty eyes, like they've been drinking blood, like madness, shaken, crazy, demonic eyes, like they're gonna eat you, like they're gonna drink your blood type shit. And they were coming off the canoe while I'm standing on the shore, and I felt paralyzed for a moment. And I felt, as they were getting closer, I felt like my body was vibrating. And they had vials around their necks, and they were coming at me like trying to get me to drink it. And I shook myself out of it. And you know, I felt physically ill after this for a few days and stuff like this. And then a couple of weeks, like a week later, I spoke up about certain members of the Golden Dawn. And that very same night, I saw those two people I spoke up about dressed up like checkered pimps. Like they were dressed up like pimps in these checkered outfits, almost like clown pimps. And they were standing in the background with a devilish smile. And all of these African voodoo type dressed people were coming at me, right? And I was slapping them away, trying to get away with them. And I could see those two people standing there all dressed up, right? So I was feeling heavy physical sickness as well. And it was really a scary, horrific dream. Like it was horrifying, right? And I was yelling out in my dream, and there was weird chanting going on. It was really straight out of a horror movie for voodoo, like zombie type stuff, right? So fast forward about 2 nights after that, 3 nights after that, I have the most intense vision quest in my dream. Now I find myself walking through my parents'. How much battery? All right, I have 7% left. So I found myself walking through the neighborhood of where I grew up in, like my parents' neighborhood, in the dream. And I'm walking with this guy who's probably about 6'2", really muscular, big black guy, African guy. And he's got no shirt on and like some like weird tribal shorts, like cloth almost, right? And I'm walking with him calm, and we're talking. And we're walking through the neighborhood I grew up in. It's like we're walking in the neighborhood towards my parents' house. And I'm talking to him about some things. And I can't remember exactly everything, because it's, you know, in dreams you like, but I have like a couple minutes of recall of it until I woke up. It's like you usually pull back right before what you remember, right before you wake up. It's like those few little minutes right before you wake up is usually what you retain. And when you write it down, you can retain even more, and you can have even more recall. And in fact, I've been keeping a dream log since my near-death experience around 9-10 years old. So I have intense logs, and this is how I help dream heal other people. It's from my own spiritual experiences and how I related to what's going on. So I'm walking through my neighborhood, and I'm talking to him about my ancestral past. I remember telling him, you know, I'm related to the Moors. Like my mother's side, I'm related to the Moors, who were African voodoo, right? Mm-hmm. So let me fix this. So as I'm telling him all this, we're walking to where my parents' house is, right? And I'm telling him how I have voodoo in my ancestral line. And, I don't understand how I was even attacked. It's like unjustified, because all I did was speak my opinion about something. I had no malicious intent on anybody. I didn't send any evil towards nobody. I just spoke my mind. And, I don't deserve this attack. Like, not that I didn't say I didn't deserve it. I was just explaining what happened and how I have voodoo in my ancestry as well. And as I'm telling him this, we're walking now up to my parents' house. And I see the whole house is surrounded by voodoo people. They're standing at strategic spots around the house. And they're actually seeding my dad's lawn and putting hay on top of it. And I think it was like a gesture that here we're helping out a little bit now. We're sorry. And then so I walk to the side door of the house where that's my usual entrance. I open up the door, I walk in, and then I turn behind me to close the door. And as I'm closing the door, I'm looking out of the crack at the door, and one of the voodoo guys is like staring at me, and he has like a just sort of like a stoic Russian look. You know how like Russian fighters, they show no emotion? Just like a stoic Russian look. It's he had this like just stoic look. Not so much evil, but he kind of looked a little mean. It was just like a stoic look with no expression. So as I'm closing the door, I'm like, you need anything else? Like, why are you still looking at me? You guys should be leaving now. And then I woke up. It was weird. It was like he was watching me close the door, and I looked down. I was like, kind of like, why are you guys still here? We should oh shit. We should be even Steven right now, right? We should be settled. So and then I woke up. So it was like they were still looking at me in a way, but it was like I think they did a nice gesture, and it was like a sort of like a holographic healing session. When I woke up, I felt better about the situation. I felt like, we're good. We're good. So like I send no malicious intent. If somebody actually did send that voodoo after me, which I know who it is, I really hope that they can absorb those evil feelings that they have towards others, and they can deal with it in a positive way. It's really a shame that's people gotta attack people like that, and it's a cowardly way to attack somebody through magic and through dream time. I mean, if you got a problem with someone, confront them in this physical realm. Talk about it. Why do you have to do some cowardly sort of Pearl Harbor type 9/11 attack when no one knows what's coming? It's like when you're very vulnerable when you sleep, and people know that. So thank you for joining me, everybody. Yes, I do know who it is. And we're going to do a live show later on. Definitely support me on my PayPal, my website, mysticalspiral.com, and patreon.com/themysticalspiral. You can also donate right here in Super Chat. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Much love, and Spiral out.